Welcome to The Topic, where we highlight Houston Community College, our students, our programs, and our reach into the community. I'm Dr. Amy Tan, HCC Dean of English and Communications. May is Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. We're capping off HCC's celebration by getting perspectives from members of our own campus community. First up is Annie Tsui, our Dean of College Readiness, with some background on the observance of AAPI Heritage Month. It's great to see you, Annie. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me here today.
Can you start with a brief overview of the history of Asian and Pacific immigration to the U.S. and some reasons you had for coming to share this with us?
Okay. Well, I also reflect back on when I was growing up. As mentioned earlier by Zen, my family came from China. I'm a native Houstonian. I'm also known as an ABC, American-born Chinese. So my grandparents immigrated from China in the 40s to the 50s here to Houston. Many of the individuals from where I came from, the southern part of China, immigrated to Houston and to parts of San Antonio. And so looking back at that, I think about what my father used to tell me. He came and when he did come to the U.S. Islands, he was at Angel Island, which is similar to Ellis Island. And he would tell me stories about what was going on over there, about the immigrants that were there, how long they had to wait. And so coming here, again, my family was here for quite a while. And growing up here, things that I did not think about until now, perhaps at this later stage in my life, it's become quite a cultural experience. I'm always interested in learning about other countries' cultures and how inclusive they are and how we respect their customs and such. So the AAPIH celebration is based on two things from my understanding, from what I read. The first is the Japanese soldiers that fought in World War II, the Nisi. But I also, from other relatives, discovered that the Chinese also fought in World War II as well. The other main contribution is the Transcontinental Railroad that was built by the Chinese, including Indians and also other individuals. Okay, they were fighting or in competition with the Union Pacific Railroad. So they met again in Utah, Promontory Point. And then another thing is the islands or the regions of Asia. We all think about Asia as being centralized with China, with Korea, Japan, areas, those small areas, those other areas. But there's also other regions in Asia. Okay, so there's the South, there is the Southeast, there's also the North, and also one that's a combination of the Middle East and North Africa. Okay, and then of course there's the islands as well. That's, for example, think about Hawaii and all the little islands around there, the U.S. Pacific. Okay. So I think about those, and of course I think about visiting those places as well. And I had been lucky to be able to visit them. It's just the experience of going over and enjoying other cultures as well. And so for us at HCC, we have so many international students that has come here from those different areas and all over different regions. So in fact, I also have with some colleagues of mine, we started the Asian Culture Club over a year ago. And that again is to bring that cultural relevance, that inclusiveness that we want all of our students to feel regardless of their ethnicity.
Absolutely. Yes. And you jumped ahead to the second question, and you said,
sorry.
No, that's okay. No, to talk about how complex the AAPI representation is, and that there are, just like any other immigrant group, there may be different historical and political and social reasons why certain groups are immigrating from certain countries at different periods over the course of time. And I'm so glad you mentioned the work that the Chinese immigrants did on the railroad. I think that's overlooked. And you started to tell us a little bit. Can you tell us some more about the contributions to American culture that we all see around us?
Well, except for the food.
The food is
Just
very
kidding.
important.
We have some, well, AAPIH month, the theme this year is leading leaders through innovation. And so there are several that are very notable. One that I remember is someone named A.J. Bott. His was the invention of the USB port. Another one was as a matter of fact, one of the co-partners with YouTube, Stephen Chen. Okay, those are two of those. We also have others as well from the different countries, India, Philippines, and also Japan. There's also two commemorative stamps that you can probably still find. And one is the one for the Japanese soldiers, Go for Broke. And I do believe there was a movie named Go for Broke, as a matter of fact. And the other one is a physicist that was from China, and her name is Chen Hu. Okay, so those are some of the contributors of innovation to the U.S.
Fantastic. And so you were also involved in celebrating the month at HCC and some of the programming. What were some of the things that HCC did in particular to mark AAPI Heritage Month?
Okay, for this particular month, we have the Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Celebration. We did that on May the 1st. My Asian Culture Club and I gathered and worked with the Student Life Coordinator at Northwest College to have that event. But if we're reflecting back, in the month of September, we also celebrate the Mid-Autumn Festival, which is the mooncake. And that one was the students that we had and faculty staff that came, they enjoyed that very much. And of course, the big one is the Lunar New Year. And this time it was, I believe it was on February the 12th or something like this, but it was on the weekend. So that was great because we had extra time to enjoy that. But that is our big one, the Lunar New Year. It's also known as Spring Festival for many of the cultures also, but for me, it's the Chinese New Year, of course. And then we have special foods that we eat that we prepared. Fish in Chinese for having something new. We also have a chicken that is whole. It represents family. Just many other little things that we do celebrate.
I do love it when we celebrate the Lunar New Year on campus because I love the dragon dance.
Yes.
It's so festive and it gets everyone engaged and we get to participate in that way. Well, before I have to let you go, is there an author or a book that you would recommend for people who want to participate in AAPI?
Well, no, I'm just in my Zen's book right now. That's all that I would like to read that as well. But I do have a book, but this is from way back. It's about the Texans, the Asian Texans here. And it was something I got a long time ago, but not any particular book, no. And of course, Amy, what's your last name? Amy Tang.
Amy Tang.
Yes, any of those books are enjoyable
needs to read the Joy Luck Club, even though I didn't write it.
Yes, and The Kitchen God's Wife is a good one.
And The Kitchen God's Wife is my favorite. It is, yes. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here with me. When we come back, we'll get another perspective on AAPI month and how it enriches HCC.
At Houston Community College, we make your lessons matter. Open the door to real-world education, where passions become careers. Find out more at hccs.edu and let your success take flight.
For more than a year, we have kept you informed with more than 500 remote episodes. But now we're back, bigger and better with more news and more guests. Join us live every weekday at 10 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube, and on HCC TV at noon and 5 p.m. You can watch from anywhere. We go where you go.
Welcome back to the topic. We're celebrating Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Joining us now is Hoa Chung, supplemental instructor from our ASL interpreting program and a recent graduate. It's great to see you, Hoa.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Amy. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Oh, I'm just thrilled that you're going to join us, or that you have joined us. And I want to start with asking you to tell us a little about what celebrating AAPI month means to you.
Actually, I was born in Vietnam. I'm Vietnamese, and I came here when I was 20. So with all of the background, all of the culture, I've been adopting, living that way. I came here and it was pretty hard for me in the beginning to find a place or an organization or somewhere that I feel I belong to. And it took a while after that for me. And then I found, my community, my organizations, the people that are always there to support AAPI. And it means a lot for me personally every year that I celebrate this month. So that I want to reach out to people that used to feel the same like me, like they don't know where they belong to. So by celebrating this month, AAPI H month, we can tell them, hey, I'm over here. We are here. We are your support, and let's celebrate our culture together.
And did you take ESL classes at Houston Community College? Did you come as an international student?
I did, yes. They help a lot.
Well, and I think it's beautiful that you want to be that community for others who are newly arrived. So what do you feel are some significant contributions of the AAPI community?
I would say I have to agree with Annie on food.
100%. I think we all agree with that.
Yes. But especially we're here in Houston, we're one of the biggest community here that represent for our cultures in many aspects, like food, or I would say personally for me, it's religion and Vietnamese culture-wise. So I've been a member of VCSA, which stands for Vietnamese Culture and Science Society. So within this group, we have a lot of celebrations throughout the year. Of course, Lunar New Year, and we do some arts. We have some community activities in this month, like a concert that we invite famous people from Vietnam. And we also have like charity activity within that concert. So we can use what we made out of the concert and help other people within the community.
And the past few years have seen some significant challenges in the Houston area. What part has the AAPI community played in overcoming these obstacles?
I would like to touch a little bit in 2020. We all went through a significant tough time in 2020 during COVID. And as an international student at the time, of course, I didn't have a job. It was tough for my family back there in Vietnam to support me also. I found myself in a situation where I could not keep my life balanced. And that was when the people in the community reached out to people like me who were struggling. And there were Vietnamese people, Taiwanese people, Chinese people, also Indian people. And through different activities, like through the group that I mentioned earlier, or through some temples, some Buddhist temple or some Indian temple, and people just reach out to everyone in all the communities and say, hey, do you need any help? Do you need any support? And that was when I I was really touched. I really thankful and appreciate that a shy person like me back then was able to receive the help from many good hearts out there. And I finally became involved with them. So we did different activities. We went out to deliver food to people's door because we could not go outside of our house.
Right.
Yep. And we also set up some free vaccine booths to help, people that don't have the ability to get vaccinated. So through that 2020 year, I felt like the AAPI community plays a big role in my life.
You're really highlighting that collective sensibility that we associate with the AAPI culture, as opposed to the more individualized and independent American identity. And that's what I'm hearing from you as you talk about your experience during COVID. How has your heritage influenced your professional journey, and how does it inform your interactions with your colleagues and with students?
Well, this is my favorite topic or area that I want to talk about, because as an international student, like a lot of students from HCC also are, I came here very insecure about myself. And I was kind of in my own little bubble, and I was afraid to make friends. I was afraid to ask questions. And at that point, other Asian friends of mine, they approached me. So it was like a strong feeling of community there. They saw me was just being shy, being by myself, and they reached out. I say, hey, let's be friends. And then I started to make friends. And then when I gained a lot more confidence by, okay, I have friends, I'm not so isolated. That's when I get to have the confidence to talk to my professors. And I actually had a few AAPI professors. They're from Vietnam, they're from China, they're from India. And they helped me so much to cope through the hard couple classes. And what was the question again?
And how does that influence your interactions with colleagues and students?
So within my 2 years in ASL program, I have met a few Asian students. And our first language, of course, is not English. And I figured that I can help even more amount of students by reaching out to them, giving them a little bit of more comfortable feeling. Hey, I can speak your language. Do you want to practice with me? Or is there any aspect of both English and ASL that you don't understand? I can help you with that. And we actually worked together, and we figured out a lot of interesting perspective about both English, ASL. Also,
well, I'm so sorry. I have to wrap, but I just appreciate your coming and sharing your journey. And of course, as the Dean of ASL and interpreting, I'm so proud of your journey. And I hope we get a chance to talk more about this soon. When we return, we meet the man who literally wrote the book on Houston's Chinatowns.
At Houston Community College, we make your lessons matter. Open the door to real-world education, where passions become careers. Find out more at hccs.edu and let your success take flight.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I
Oh,
do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Things could be stranger, but I don't know how. I'm going through changes, through all of the strangeness. I'm going through changes now.
Welcome back to the topic. We're celebrating Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Joining us is Zen Zheng, Director of Communications for HCC Southwest. He has just published a book on Houston Chinatowns, which we are all here in our various home or office studios very excited to hear about. Welcome, Zen.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, I'm so thrilled to have you here. What inspired you to take on this book project and to focus on the Houston Chinatowns?
Okay, Chinatown means a lot to me. You know, as a Houstonian of Chinese descent, it is where I connect with my roots. This is where I go eat, shop for groceries, and just to be part of a community that shares my culture that we celebrate together. When I first arrived in Houston from Eugene, Oregon, some 30 years ago, I was thrilled with the city's multi-ethnic environment. And visiting Chinatown felt like finding a piece of home, and it quickly became an indispensable part of my life. And then I worked for the Houston Chronicle as a reporter. I explored both new and old Chinatowns. And I was wondering why new Chinatown was a bustling place that was booming, while old Chinatown in East Downtown was, sort of like a declined state at that time. And I was intrigued by the differences, and I wanted to understand why. But unfortunately, I did a lot of research, but I couldn't find enough literature and absolutely no scholarly study on these neighborhoods, which in my view were so important to our city, to Asian Americans, and to the world. And then in late 2011, that was when the iconic Anliang building, Anliang stands for, it's the name of the Chinese Merchants Association. The building in East Downtown had just been demolished. There was a San Antonio developer purchased the property and had a plan to turn it into a hotel, which eventually did not pan out. So I visited the site to look at the demolition. The building had been such a hub of communal and cultural life for the Chinese community for decades. And when I looked at the site, it was very sad and disheartening. And I saw the nearly cleared ground with broken fragments of the structure that had Chinese characters on it. And the remnants of the red tile floor still had, those broken pieces on the ground. And I looked at those pieces, the broken pieces. I was just imagining what a vibrant life that was once lived on the ground. And I felt like I had just witnessed the erasure of a community. So that emotional moment sort of firmed up my decision to systematically document the history of Houston Chinatowns. And then my good friend, Dr. Yali Zhou, who is the director of Asian American Studies Center at the University of Houston, has been such a staunch supporter from the get-go. And she embraced the project with me when I discussed it with her. And then she entrusted me with leading the study as a research fellow at the center that she leads. And so over the years, the center's sponsorship and Dr. Zhou's guidance, particularly from the scholarly research perspective, has been truly invaluable. Then a few years ago, the project received a huge boost when the book proposal was endorsed by Emerald Publishing, which is a world preeminent scholarly publisher based in the United Kingdom. So In the book, actually, I have the book here as a handsomely printed book, hardcover. On the dedication page, I dedicate this book to the memory of my father and his legacy. And it was my father who imparted these last words to encourage me to finish the book. It was just days before his passing. So
Oh,
the
wow.
publication of this book is really in his memory and honor.
Yeah, that is beautiful. The story of how it came to be, and I know what it must mean to you to have it coming out. What can you tell us a little bit about when you were doing the work and looking at the new Chinatown and the old Chinatown? What are what ways can you distinguish the old China from the new Chinatown?
Well, of course, the scale is different. And today, Old Chinatown is no longer in existence, sadly. I had quite substantial discussion in the book on the rise and fall of Old Chinatown. So when I started this project, Old Chinatown was on its continued path of deterioration with its rich history fading away and traces of Chinese roots really vanishing. But at the same time, New Chinatown was a boom town, as I mentioned earlier. New Chinatown saw dramatic growth already into a very vibrant, multi-ethnic urban center along Bel Air Boulevard in Southwest Houston on a stretch of up to 10 miles, roughly from US 59, Highway 50, and all the way toward Highway 6. So Chinatown is not only a place of, we all love Chinese foods and Asian food, but it's not just a place for authentic Asian food, but where people come for a rich array of cultural and spiritual enrichment, from Chinese schools, dancing schools, martial art, to temples and churches, to community and social services, and to healthcare services and more. And within just a few blocks near Beltway 8, I'm not sure you guys have noticed that there is a concentration of nearly close to 10 Asian banks, which
Yes,
in the area, the name,
Yep.
the Wall Street of Chinatown.
That's right.
So this
Well,
rapid transformation required constant updates to my research over time. And then it took quite a while. It was because of the drastic transformation. It was just, the changes were taking place faster than my eyes could catch. But also I had some professional and personal interruptions over the years, but the drive to chronicle our history here for the world just kept me going.
yeah, it's just incredible, Zhang, the work that you did. We are going to have to wrap, so everybody's going to have to go get your book so they can find out more, and maybe the next book will be on Katie's new Chinatown. Well, thank you for being here, Zen. Thanks for joining us on The Topic. To listen to The Topic and more HCC TV programming, visit hccs.edu/podcast. For The Topic on HCC TV, I'm Dr. Amy Tan.